It's a beautiful morning here at INIOLUWA, and we're live at the studios of iPower 102.7 FM. This is your delectable sports program, and I am Sports Diva. I am going to be taking you on an eventful ride through the world of sports, and you can also join me on this ride by following our social media handles on Facebook at iPower 102.7 FM, Instagram, and TikTok too. You can also join us live on X at iPower 1027. Like I said earlier, I am going to be taking you on an eventful ride through the world of sports, ranging from the latest sports update, expert analyses, and exciting highlights in the sporting arena. Now, let's step into the dynamic world of sports, beginning from some spectacular headline. Talking Kwara sack coach after MPFL Confed Cup defeat. Moving on to EPL, where Arsenal has suffered a major injury blow. Next, Ireland extends hot streak as Man City beat Brentford 1-0. Now talking Syria League, where Roma has moved top with 2-1 win over Fiorentina. And finally, on the list of headlines, Onumonu has retired from football at 31. We'll take a short break. When we get back, we'll dish what we've got for you on the program today. Do not touch that dial. Glad you're still there. You're still onto Sports Diaries, coming to you from iPower 102.7 FM. First on the list of our top stories this morning, the Confederation of African Football has confirmed that the Women's African Cup of Nations finals will expand from 12 to 16 teams, beginning with the 2026 edition. Next year tournament in Morocco was initially planned to feature 12 nations, with qualifying already as its second and final round. However, the expansion means an additional round of qualifying may be introduced, with 11 remaining teams expected to compete for 4 available slots. Further details are expected after CAF Executive Committee meeting currently taking place in Kinshasa. Yes, now onto the clash between Chelsea and Liverpool, where former Manchester United star Wayne Rooney has revealed the major problems with Liverpool. According to former England international, the Reds have a clear problem, which was obvious in the 2-1 defeat to Chelsea on Saturday. Liverpool were beaten 2-1 by Chelsea at Stamford Bridge on Saturday, with goals from Moses Caicedo and William Estevao, cancelling out Cody Gakpo's strike and handling the Blues all 3 points. The Merseysiders had suffered defeat to Crystal Palace in the Premier League and Galatasaray in the Champions League before meeting Chelsea at the weekend. And Slotsmen are now behind new Premier League leaders Arsenal with 1 point. Rooney noted that the Reds struggled in the full-back areas against Chelsea. He said that the Blues exploited Conor Bradley, who was snubbed off at the halftime after being booked in the first half. Now, moving to the MPFL table, where Kwara United have parted ways with head coach Tunde Sani following the team's recent poor run of form, which saw them lose both in Nigerian Premier Football League and CAF Confederation Cup. The Harmony Boys suffered a 1-0 defeat to Abia Warriors on Sunday in Ilorin, days after being knocked out of the CAF Confederation Cup by Ghana Asante Kotoko on a 5-3 aggregate. The result have left the club management frustrated, prompting immediate action. Confirming this development, club chairman Kumbi Titilayo told the club's media that Sani had been asked to step aside as technical advisor. He added that the assistant coach, Ashifat Suleiman, would take charge of the team with immediate effect. Titilayo explained that the decision was made after a thorough review of the team's performance, which failed to meet expectation despite a strong start to the campaign. Following the Sunday loss in INIOLUWA, Sani expressed disappointment but instead insisted that the team will recover. The coach had watched his side dominate possession in the first half but failed to convert key chances, with Abia Warriors eventually sealing victory through a Mega Obioma's 48-minute penalty after a handball in the box. The result continued a frustrating run for the INIOLUWA-based club, who also faltered on the continental stage. Kwara United CAF Confederation Cup campaign ended prematurely after a 1-0 second leg defeat to Asante Kotoko in Abeokuta, having early lost a 4-3 in Accra. ACL Sports pointed to technical shortcomings and poor preparation as the key reason behind their continental exit. The team struggled to impose a clear game plan after appearing disorganized in both attack and defense. Their slow transitions and wasteful in front of goals were also heavily criticized. Despite acknowledging how lucky the Ghanaians were in the first leg, Sani was also accused of failing to make the right tactical adjustment ahead of the return match. The decision to bench forward Shola Abdurrahman, who scored in Accra, also raised questions about the coach's selection. With Sani departure confirmed, Suleiman's immediate task will be to stabilize the team form as they prepare to face Kano Pillars in their rescheduled MPFL Matchday 6 fixtures on Wednesday. Kwara United currently sits 10th place on the league table and will hope to change in technical leadership brings renewed momentum to their campaign. Now talking EPL, where Arsenal have suffered a major injury blow following their Premier League 2-0 win against West Ham United on Saturday. The Gunners disclosed in a post via their website on Sunday that captain Martin Odegaard has suffered a collateral ligament injury to his left knee. Recall that Odegaard was substituted during Arsenal Premier League win against West Ham. As a result, Odegaard was withdrawn from Norway national team for their upcoming matches against Israel and New Zealand respectively. The midfielder will hope to recover on time to feature for Arsenal Premier League tie against Fulham after the international break. Arsenal's statement says, and I quote, Martin will return to be assessed and treated by our medical team during the international window. And another one on football, still talking EPL, where Erling Haaland has extended his blistering start to the season as Manchester City striker sealed to a 1-0 at Brentford yesterday. Haaland netted early in the first half in West London and gave City a third win in their last 4 Premier League games. The peerless 25-year-old already has 12 goals in 9 appearances in all competitions this season, plus 6 in 2 matches for Norway, with Tottenham the only team to stop him scoring in the current campaign. City survived the second half deep to move into 5th place in the Premier League. Guardiola's side are unbeaten in their last 7 games in all competitions since losing to Brighton in August. City still trails leaders Arsenal by 3 points, but they go into the international break with renewed impetus after a slow start to the season. The only concern for Guardiola was the sight of Rodri being forced off with a first half injury after appearing to damage his hamstring. The Spain midfielder has struggled to finish the game since coming back at the club World Cup in the summer following anterior cruciate ligament surgery. Rodri, who won the prestigious Ballon d'Or after his brilliant form in 2024, only managed to play for an hour against Monaco after sitting out City's 2 previous fixtures. Alan had been in typically clinical form in 2-2 draw at Monaco on Wednesday, and Guardiola's men twice squandered the lead as they conceded a last gasp equalizer. They would repeat their Champions League mistake as they secured Guardiola's 250th Premier League victory. It has taken Guardiola just 349 matches to reach this milestone, while the next fastest peer, Alex Ferguson, as Manchester United, Arsene Wenger at Arsenal, both took more than 400. Guardiola surprisingly left Belgian winger Jeremy Doku on bench despite his impressive start to the season. Ireland was chasing his first Premier League goal at the GTEC Community Stadium. Along with Anfield, he had failed to score at the top flight, and the Norway striker took just 9 minutes to end his wait for a goal in Brentford soil. Guardiola's long pass caught Brentford defender Seth van den Berg and Nathan Collins flat-footed as Alan raced clear to blast the fierce finish past Keller. Even by his standard, Alan is exceptionally prolific in London, having scored a remarkable 21 league goals in 22 games in the English capital. Still talking soccer, where Kelechi Iheanacho was on target as Celtic defeated Motherwell 3-2 in the thrilling Scottish Premiership encounter on Saturday. Iheanacho scored the curtain riser for the penalty spot in the 27th minute. The 29-year-old has now scored 3 goals in 5 appearances across all competitions for the Wolves. The forward was replaced by Mikel Angie 12 minutes from time. Celtic put an end to the 3-game winless streak following the victory. Brendan Rodgers' side also cut a gap to leaders at to 2 points. Now on Syria League, where Roma have moved top of Syria yesterday after coming from behind to win 2-1 at Fiorentina, throwing down the gauntlets to Napoli and AC Milan. Mattia Sele and Brian Cristante struck in the first half in Florence as Roma moved 3 points clear of the champions Milan and Inter Milan, who turned Cremons on Saturday. Piero Gasperini Roma are on 15 points after a third straight win in Italy top flight, which came after going behind to a Mossy King rocket in 14th minute. Kinos almost added to his first goal of the season when he smashed another powerful effort up the post in the 38th minute. Not long after Cristante added Roma into the lead, Roberto Piccoli was also unlucky not to level with any volley, which rattled the crossbar in the 74th minute. But Fiorentina remained winless on 3 points and 1 place above the relegation zone. Napoli and Milan can join Roma at the top of the table later on Sunday. The former Austin struggling Genoa on the highway from Wednesday 2-1 win over Sporting Lisbon in the Champions League. Milan, meanwhile, faced the second test of the Scudetto credentials in as many weeks with Juventus, who sit 4 points behind Roma in 5th line in waiting Turin. Massimiliano at Greece team stayed at the weekend in the first place on goal difference after winning a thrilling match with Napoli last weekend. And now talking Premier League clashes over the weekend ahead of the... Yes, still talking soccer finally when Nasarawa United player been rewarded for their match day 7 victory over Bendel Insurance. The Solid Miners defeated Bendel Insurance 1-0 at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium on Saturday. Nasarawa State Commissioner for Youth and Sports Development, Honorable Kwanta Yakubu, redeemed this pledge of 500,000 naira to the players after the win in Benin City. The players were also rewarded by the club chairman and the supporter respectively. The win was their 5th of the 2025-26 season. They are currently on the 6-game unbeaten run in Nigeria Premier Football League. Nasarawa United occupied the top position of the MPFL table with 16 points. And now, moving on to the transfer scene, where Manchester United are braced for bids from clubs in Saudi Arabia for captain Bruno Fernandes in January. According to Manchester Evening News, the outlet sources suggest Bruno will be offered more than double his salary from SPL club once the transfer window reopens. The 31-year-old was the subject of reported €100 million bid from Al Hilal back this summer, which was rejected by Manchester United. However, after a slow start to the new season, the club could now begin to cash in on their star midfielder and use the funds raised to finance an offer for a long-term target. Yes, still talking transfer, where Bayern Munich midfielder Alexander Pavlovic is attracting interest from a host of European clubs according to Bild. Manchester City are said to be among his admirers as they line up a long-term replacement for the 2024 Ballon d'Or winner Rodri, while Juventus and Paris Saint-Germain are also keen. Pavlovic, 21-year-old, has played 12 times for Bayern this season and is Germany international with 5 caps to his name. With his contract that runs until June 2029, it won't be easy to prize away for the Bundesliga's champions. And finally, let us take this on the transfer scene, when Napoli are targeting a move for Manchester United young Kobe Mainoo. The England international is keen on securing regular first-team football this season with the 2026 FIFA World Cup on the horizon. Napoli are one club that could launch a bid if it does become available. Although serial champion are expected to face strong competition, Mainoo, 20-year-old, has yet to start a Premier League match so far this season under Ruben Amorim. And that is all on the transfer scene. And now a closer look to home, where E1 Lagos GP happened live. Team Brazil kept up the impeccable weekend in Nigeria with a thrilling win of the E1 Lagos GP, seizing the maiden race in Africa to claim their first win in the all-electric power boat series on Sunday. Powered by their pole position from Saturday qualifying, Team Brazil duly capitalized from the group race to the final, with Team Janssen delivering a flawless performance on water. They had the fastest time in practice sessions on top the qualifying race on Saturday before winning the final on Sunday. They beat Team Blue Rising, owned by Indian cricket icon Virat Kohli, to second place with Team Drogba Global Africa, which is owned by Ivory Coast football legend and former Chelsea striker Didier Drogba and Gabriel Lemaire, finished third. Team Brazil got 38 points for their win, taking their tally up to 89 points. However, they are still far off from the title in seventh position, ahead of the final race of the season next month in Miami. The E1 is an electric powerboat race which began last year in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, and Lagos became the first city in Africa to host the championship. And next, we take a flight into the fixtures that happened over the weekend and matches that are going to be happening today. Beginning from today's fixtures, And talking Nigerian Professional League, where Rangers International will go side by side with Katsina United by 8 a.m. And Remo Stars will go side by side with Wiki Tourist by 4 p.m. Moving on to matches that were played this just concluded weekend and their scores beginning from Friday, and talking English Premier League, where AFC Bournemouth and Fulham played, and AFC Bournemouth went on with a 3-1 victory. Wrexham and Birmingham City played side by side, with both going on with a draw of 1-1. And for matches played on Saturday, talking English Premier League, where Leeds United played side by side with Tottenham Hotspur, with Leeds United having won and Tottenham Hotspur going on with a 2. Arsenal beating West Ham United with a score of 2-0. Manchester United beating Sunderland with a score of 2-0. Chelsea beating Liverpool with the score of 2-1. Moving on to the English Champions League, where Blackburn Rovers and Stoke City went on with a draw of 1-1. Hull City and Sheffield City played side by side, with Hull City beating Sheffield City to 1-0. Sheffield Wednesday and Coventry City played, with Coventry City beating Sheffield Wednesday to 5-0. Bristol City played with Queen Park Rangers, with Queen Park Rangers beating Bristol City to a score of 2-1. Derby County played with Southampton, with both going on with a draw of 1-1. Portsmouth played with Middlesbrough, with Portsmouth beating Middlesbrough 1-0. Preston North End played with Charlton Athletic, with Preston North End having a 2, Charlton Athletic having 0. And Swansea City played with Leicester City, with Leicester City beating Swansea City 3-1. And finally, two matches that happened on Sunday, talking English Premier League, where Aston Villa played with Burnley, and Aston Villa beat Burnley to a 2-1 victory. Moving forward, Everton played with Crystal Palace, with Everton beating Crystal Palace to a win of 2-1. Newcastle played with Nottingham Forest, with Newcastle United beating Nottingham Forest with a win of 2-0. Wolverhampton Wanderers played with Brighton and Hove Albion, with both going on with a draw of 1-1. Brentford played with Manchester City, with Brentford going on with a 0-1. Manchester City going on with a 1. And now moving on to English Champions League, where Ipswich Town played with Norwich City, with Ipswich Town going with a win of 3-1. And with that, we've come to an up on today's program. Many thanks to those Many thanks for staying with us on today's edition of Sports Diaries. Many thanks to those that have made today's program possible, and to those that have worked with me in the studios this morning. I say a very big thank you. See you tomorrow, same time, same station. Until then, I remain your favorite sports diva. Keep loving the game and stay sporting. God bless you.